Hey there my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have another alterations video for you. Today we're going to be making the waist larger on a pair of pants. So this is for a customer who wants the waist a little larger, and you might be thinking, how can we make pants larger? We can take away, we can't add. Well, we can add. So we're going to add a patch of fabric at the side here. So I'm going to show you how to make this patch, how to put it in, how to measure it right, and get the waistband that you need. So stay tuned, we're going to get right into it. This customer has asked me to add a total of 2.5 inches to the waist of these pants. So I've already started by cutting here, and I cut all the way down to the little grommet, and I did the other side. So a total of 2.5 inches means we're going to be adding 1 1/4 to each side of this. When I do this alteration for people, I make sure they know what I'm doing. It's not an ideal alteration. You're going to be able to see these side panel patches. We're going to match it the best we can with another fabric, but we just want to know it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look seamless. You're going to be able to tell an adjustment was made. So we need to finish these edges here. So it's going to be tough to get a serger in there. I'm just going to use my zigzag on my regular sewing machine, and I'm going to zigzag along this edge. Now I might have to even move the the belt loop, or I might just have to try to go around it. And then this side we're going to need to finish at least here. We could maybe get away with leaving this since the outer layer is turned under and finished. It's just a little bit of that inner layer raw edge peeking out. So I'm definitely going to finish most of this with a zigzag on the regular sewing machine, so let's go do that. So I have set my stitch selector to a zigzag, and you can make it a wide zigzag or a narrow zigzag. I'm going to go kind of wider, but not all the way. And then for stitch length, a normal stitch length is 2.5. We want to go a little tighter, so maybe just 1 3/4 area. So we have a nice tight zigzag to overlock these edges. And I threaded my machine in black to match my fabric. Okay, so we're just gonna start at the top corner here. So we have the belt loop, which is in our way. So what I'm gonna do is, just for this section, I'm gonna make the zigzag even more narrow. Okay, so now since we're starting here, I'm gonna start down and I'm gonna reverse stitch all the way to the top. So I'm gonna start here, reverse up, and then come back down. And I'm going to try to stay just underneath the belt loop and just finishing the edge. So our goal, our needle is going to bounce back and forth to create the zigzag, and we want it to bounce back and forth over the unfinished edge here to finish that edge like it's a serger. So we're overcasting it. Okay, so I'm going to start in a little bit from the edge like that, and you might have to have the belt loop be under the foot, even though we're not going to let the needle go through it. Okay, so let's take the first few by hand and just see that that's going to jump over the edge like we want it to. I'm going to go a little wider, zigzag. Okay, I'm going to reverse. Okay, now I'm at the edge of the fabric. To make sure everything's good, you go forward. See how the needle is bouncing off to the right, like slightly over, not on fabric, kind of. You might have to help it through this belt loop section. This is kind of weird. You might have to lift your presser foot a few times and make sure it doesn't fall off the edge, whatever you got to do to make this happen. Okay. Now I'm going to widen my zigzag since we're past that part. Okay, so here's where we're getting to the little point. So we clipped down the side here, and I'm going gonna sew down into this point, being careful not to hit that grommet rivet thing. And we're gonna go down here and we're just gonna pivot and we're gonna come back up. Once you get deep into the other piece of fabric and your needle is actually in the other side, you can stop with your needle down and we'll pivot. So I'll lift the presser foot, needles down, so I can pivot on that needle. And now I'm coming up the other side. I'm gonna put my presser foot back down and continue. This was that section I said I might not do, but since my machine's going through it just fine, I'm going to go ahead and finish this section too. So we've reached the top, so we'll end with a reverse stitch and take that out. So here's what we did. We did a zigzag along that edge so that once these little strings are gone, there won't be any more fraying happening here. So it's all finished. Now we have to prepare our patch to go on the inside. So here's our finished patch. So now we're gonna slide it in here just like we had it a minute ago and pin it in again, and then we're gonna sew it on. So I'm lining this up with the top as much as possible. All pinned in, ready to sew. Okay, so now I'm going to sew this down, and you could use a straight stitch for this part, but I'm actually going to use the zigzag again and basically just redo the thing that we just did. And you could do this all in one step, but I think it makes it stronger to do it like this. So I'm just going to lower down, begin with a zigzag and back up to the beginning, and then go forward. Into the corner, put the needle down, raise the presser foot, pivot on the needle to come back up the other side. come all the way to the very top and then end with a back stitch. So here's what we have. So now the waistband is bigger. We have a patch that is totally reinforced in, and all the raw edges are covered. Looks good from the inside. So then all you have to do is repeat for the other side. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you out. If you needed to make a pair of pants larger, let me know in the comments down below how it went for you, and if you had any other questions or anything else to say. Please make sure you give my video a like if this was helpful to you or if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel if you're into this kind of thing. Thanks so much again, and happy sewing!